Hi everyone, my name is Roshi and this is my very first YouTube video. Basically, I'm going to be talking about how I manifested love into my life, how I manifested my husband, and this is a story that actually goes back to 2016. So I was in a long-term relationship that I had just gotten out of, and as a lot of people go through, they go through a little bit of a funk after a breakup. So I was in this little funk and I thought, okay, what do I need to do to kind of, get out of this and just feel better? So I had watched The Secret in the past and I knew that that was something that I loved watching. I always felt good after watching it, and I just love the law of attraction. It's worked in so many aspects of my life, so I was like, okay, like let me get back into this. So the first thing that I did was I got really selective on what I was watching and what I was listening to and what I was reading. So I didn't want to get programmed by any sort of news or read anything that was upsetting, or if I'm listening to the radio, I didn't want any sort of like sad song to come up and then just put me like deeper into this little funk. So what I did was I would watch The Secret, and then I would YouTube like law of attraction success stories, or I actually came across Wayne Dyer, and so I just fell in love with him. I mean, he was so educated on the topic, and all of his videos and talks just make you feel so good afterwards. So I started listening to him, and also every morning when I would wake up, I would actually put on Pharrell's Happy and I would listen to that every day before work. So I got really selective on what I was watching, but I did watch The Secret was the first thing that I kind of was like, okay, let me jumpstart and watch this. So I was watching The Secret, I was taking down all these notes, I was listening to all these talks, and every morning I was listening to this happy song. So that was like the first step that I kind of took, and it got me into this good feeling place where I was like, oh, okay, like I feel good, and I'm starting to understand things a little bit more as I'm getting more educated about this topic, as I read and listen to all these people. So I started doing that, and that was the first thing that I did. And then through those talks, I would learn about scripting, or I would learn about meditation, or just positive affirmations. So while I was listening to these talks in my car, or while I was listening to Happy on the way to work, I would literally scream out things, like I would literally just scream out manifestations, or sorry, affirmations. And I think it was Wayne Dyer who said something along the lines of, you have to be careful with what you say after I am, because that is what will manifest. I am is such a strong, powerful phrase that anything you say after that is going to manifest into your reality. So I was like, okay, I need to be careful with what I say. And then also I need to affirm what I want in my life, and who I want to be, and all those things. So when I would drive and I'd be listening to Happy, I would literally scream out affirmations like, I am happy, I am beautiful, I am love, I am driving a new car, or I am working at my dream job, or work is amazing, or I just like say all these like fun things, and I would literally laugh out loud after I would say this, because I was having so much fun saying these things, and I thought it was so funny that by the time I got to work, I was in such a good mood. Or not even just work, like I would say this whenever I was going certain places. It was just something that I got used to, and so yeah, I would talk to myself in the car and just affirm these things and listen to these positive talks and things, and I would literally just laugh and be in this good vibration. So that was the second thing that I started to do, was affirming things, and it really helped me put me into even a better mood, because it was things that I was saying out loud that really, like, I was like, oh, that can be a reality. That's something that I'm genuinely feeling right now. And then the third thing that I did was I picked up a journal. I always loved to write, and that was something that I found almost therapeutic, was writing. So anytime what I would do is I would actually wake up in the morning, and then I would, if I had time, I would literally write out things that I was grateful for, and then at nighttime I would write out things that I was grateful for during the day. So in the morning it was more like a general broad spectrum, like I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my job, I'm grateful for work, I'm grateful for blah 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 blah, blah, whatever. And then at nighttime I would say what I was grateful for throughout the day. So I'm grateful for the free coffee that I received today. I'm grateful for the kindness of my coworkers, or whatever it was. And then after I would journal, I was just writing these things down, and you know, I think visually seeing these things was a big part as well, and writing things repeatedly was something that worked as well for me, just because it made things feel so much more real. And then the fourth thing that I did was I created a vision board. So on my vision board, I had a bunch of pictures of, like I had some wedding pictures on there, and then I had some proposal pictures on there. I also had pictures of just house and cars and like all this stuff that I was like, oh, this would be fun to have on, you know, one day. So I created this vision board, and I started meditating. So that was kind of like the fifth thing, which kind of coincided with my vision board, because when I would meditate right after I showered, and I would sit in front of my vision board and I would look at it and I'd be like, oh, like this is my reality, this is something that's gonna happen, you know, somebody's gonna come to me one day, I'm gonna have this house, I'm gonna have this car, like whatever it was. And so I would literally just sit there and I'd meditate and I'd visualize. And I know that meditation can be hard for some people at first, because you know, some people concentrate on like a candle, some people try to really still their mind, but for me, when I meditate, I like to visualize like my dream life, and that really helps me get into this really peaceful, like calm place. So that's what I was doing. And then after I was doing all of these things, you know, even though I created my vision board, and even though I was like, oh, like somebody will come one day and, you know, it'll be the greatest relationship, whatever, I was still so focused on myself. It was still a time where I was genuinely just focused on myself and becoming a better person and just loving myself 100%. So then I heard this talk by Wayne Dyer, and it said something along the lines of, you can't love someone else unless you have love yourself, and you need to become who you want to be with. And that was something that I had never heard before. You need to become who you want to be with. So I was like, okay. So I wrote down a bunch of the qualities that I wanted in someone, every single quality that I wanted in someone: funny, loyal, trustworthy, just a good guy. I literally thought, if I'm gonna meet this person's like family or friends, I want everyone who meets this person to say, this is such a good guy, like he's such a good guy. So that's what I wanted. I just wanted someone who like adores me, like opens the door for me, and gets me roses every once in a while, and like little fun things like that. But here's the tricky part. So I also wrote things like, I want someone who snowboards, someone who skateboards, someone who surfs, someone who's super adventurous, loves to go hiking, and you know, little things like that. And so I just threw that in there because I was like, I just always found that attractive when a guy does it, so whatever. So I put those things in, and then I just kind of left it out into the universe, and but I did look at it and I said, okay, I need to become these things, so let me become them. And I already thought I was, you know, like a pretty funny person and kind and all this stuff, but I was like, okay, what are some things that I can do? So I started getting a little bit more involved in charity work. I started donating more. I was, you know, spending more time with my family and friends and really joking around and having just a ball with them. And when it came to surfing and snowboarding, what I ended up doing was I planned a trip to San Diego with my cousins, and we booked everything. I got a surfing instructor, and that wasn't until March. So all of this happened, let me see, I started this process maybe in like August of 2016, and then I had moved back to California in October of 2016, and my cousin and I, like when I actually started trying to become who I wanted to be with, this was in December. So my cousin and I planned the trip to San Diego in March, and then because we lived in the Bay Area, I was like, oh, Tahoe's pretty close by, like we'll just go one of these weekends, we don't even need to plan it, we'll just spontaneously go, it doesn't matter. But I knew it was gonna happen. I knew that, you know, I'm gonna go snowboarding, it'll be fine. So I ended up getting laid off from my job, but I got another job at a different company, which was a startup, and one of their perks was a company trip to Tahoe, all expenses like paid, accommodation, travel, or transportation, food, and snowboarding passes. So I was like, this is amazing. I literally just manifested this snowboarding trip out of nowhere just because I was like, it's gonna happen, it'll be fine. Like, I'm gonna go snowboarding and I'm gonna have fun with it. So I was like, this is amazing. So that wasn't until February. Okay, it was still December. I have my snowboarding trip in February. I have my surfing trip in March. I'm doing all these fun things, just occupying my time, genuinely being happy, not looking for anyone, like literally not looking for anyone. Like, there were times when I could have gone on dates and things like that, but I was just so invested in loving myself, which sounds a little conceited, but I really was so invested in finding that self-love that if I knew that it wasn't going to work out with someone, I didn't waste their time and I didn't waste my time. So fast forward to New Year's. New Year's comes along and I just affirm that 2017 is going to be the greatest year. I'm literally going to find the love of my life. And I was like, you know, a lot of people say you should wait 2 years or so before you get engaged, or you really have to know someone before you get engaged and all this. And so for a little bit I was like, oh, like I'm probably not gonna, you know, get engaged even if I find like the love of my life or whatever. But I was like, no, you know what, 2017 I'm gonna get engaged. So this is New Year's and January comes along. I go back to I was in Seattle for like the holidays and everything, and then I went back to California. I was visiting my parents in Seattle, and then I went back to California and I was just hanging out with my cousins, and her and I planned a trip to see one of our other cousins in Stockton for the weekend. So we went over to Stockton, and on the drive over, like, her and I are just laughing and having a good old time, and I'm telling her, like, you know, ever since I started this process I feel so good, and like all these amazing things have been happening to me, and I know I'm gonna find the, like, you know, the love of my life is coming, like, you know, something amazing is gonna happen, like all these amazing things are happening. I get a friend request on Facebook, and I was literally about to delete my Facebook because I was like, I don't really use social media, so I might as well delete it. Something told me to wait a little bit, and I ended up getting a friend request from someone who ended up being Brooks, my now husband. And I literally saw the friend request and I was like, oh my gosh, this is that guy. And my cousin was like, what guy? Like, who are you talking about? And I was like, I worked with this guy 7 years ago at a preschool, and I only worked at that preschool for 2 days, and I only talked to him for like 5 to 10 minutes. So I was like, I can't believe I even remember like who this is, because there are people in college that I talked to and I honestly can't remember their names for the life of me. I don't know why, but I just don't remember. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is that guy. So I accept the friend request. I like look on his profile, and he's super into like law of attraction and like all this stuff. And I was like, cool, you know, and he looks cute. So, and he was single, so I was like, yay. But I wasn't like, oh, like, this is the guy that I'm gonna be with, like, this is the love of my life, he just came into my life. I was just like, oh cool, like, you know, reconnecting with an old friend type of thing. And we were like friends on Facebook, but I must have removed him or something because we weren't, like, we didn't really talk. So I'm glad that he added me back on. And so we added each other, and I messaged him right after, and I was like, hey, like, how are you? Long time no talk. How have you been? All of this stuff. And I'm sorry, just a second. I have to let my cat Gracie back into the house. And yes, I was sitting on the floor. Holy oh my gosh, do you guys see this? She's just hanging. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I got that. What are you doing? Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I want to like make a video about this anymore, if I want to make a video about my cat hanging on the screen door. Hey, kitty. Oh, that's so funny. You are so funny. Okay, sorry guys, but back to my story. So I message him and I'm like, hey, how are you, blah, 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 blah. He messages me right away too, and we start talking, and we just hit it off. I mean, we hit it off right away. And do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? You're so beautiful. Good kitty. So we hit it off and we start talking. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I'm sorry. So we hit it off, we start talking, and I'm in Stockton hanging out with my cousin, so I'm busy, and then he is also busy. And I think it was a long weekend, so we were there until Sunday. And on Sunday I actually ended up, so he sent me the friend request like Friday or something, and then I didn't really hear back, or we talked for a little bit, and he was like, here's my number, like call me or text me whenever you want. So I saved his number, but I didn't text him or anything. And then no, I saved his number, and then I messaged him. Yeah, I sent him a text message, and I was like, hey, this is Roshi. And then he was like, oh, thanks, like whatever. And that was kind of it. So on Sunday we were going back to the Bay Area, and I hadn't heard from him like in a day. So I was like, okay, like whatever, like it was just a friendly conversation, it doesn't mean anything. I wasn't really even thinking anything of it. So on Sunday morning, before we head back over to the Bay Area, he messages me and he's like, hey, like how are you, how's your day, I hope you have an amazing day. And one of the things that I actually wrote down was I wanted someone who was always gonna wish me like a good morning and like message me and just say like have a good day or something like that, like something little like that. It just means so much to me. So I said that, and I set that intention out, and so like that was like the first sign that he kind of started doing. And then that same night we had a baby shower that we were going to. So my cousin and I went to this baby shower, and after the shower we ended up going back to those people's house. But I was like driving around trying to find parking, and I was alone in my car because we had taken 2 separate cars. But I was alone in my car, so I was like, okay, like I'm trying to find parking, let me just call him. I don't know why, I was like, I'm just gonna call him. Like he kept saying like, oh, you can call me anytime, or like whatever. So I ended up calling him, and we talked till, I don't even know, like we talked for like an hour. I didn't even go inside this person whose baby shower it is, I didn't even go inside their house until like an hour later. And so I go inside, I hang out with them for a little bit, then I have to drive back home. And we had like these huge raccoons where I lived, so I had to like wait until the raccoons left like out of my driveway, because they literally chased people down. So I was like, okay, I'll call him back. So I call him back. We talked until 3 in the morning. I was literally sitting in my car till 3 in the morning, and I forgot to turn off my car lights, so my battery died the next day and everything. But yeah, so I waited till 3 in the morning, then I went inside. Next day, I tried starting my car, and it's not turning on. So I messaged him, I'm like, hey, do you know anything about cars? Because my battery just died, I think, and I don't know what to do. So I also wanted someone who was like a handyman, someone who really knew like what to do in like little situations like this. So he knew exactly what to do, he told me what to do, and I ended up doing it and getting my car fixed. And I was like, oh, okay, here's another sign. And even when I was talking to him on the phone till like 3 a.m., we were just talking about so many things that we had similar. He had lived in China for a year teaching English, and I was in China for 2 months. He also lived in Brazil, and where else did he go? He went somewhere else too, I can't remember, but he was very well traveled, and that was something that I wanted, because I traveled a lot when I was a kid, and I just feel like it really changes your perspective on the world. And he was just someone who really cared about the world and helping people and really changing it for the better. So all these things were like getting checked off of my list. And every day I was still meditating, I was still doing all these practices. Even though I started talking to someone, I was still doing all these things. So Brooks was in Seattle, I was in the Bay Area in California, and I decided, okay, I need to, you know, we need to hang out. And I was going up there anyway to see my parents. So I go up to Seattle, Brooks and I hang out, and after we hang out, like, it was an amazing time, but I was like, I need to, like, some more time to still find myself. So he was like, okay, like, you know, do what you need to do. He wasn't even like, what do you mean? This is so disrespectful. And like he never reacted like that at all. He always reacted with so much love and care for me. And he was like, okay, yeah, like, you know, do what you need to do. And I told him, like, please don't wait for me. Like, I just need to really make sure that I'm at 100%. Like, I'm 100% in love with myself, because if I'm not, then, you know, jealousy and insecurities and things will come into a relationship, and I don't ever want that to happen. So he understood where I was coming from, and we stopped talking for a month. And I went on this like snowboarding trip, and then my San Diego trip was coming up, and Brooks is originally from San Diego, so I didn't talk to him for a month. And then once I went to San Diego, I was like, okay, let me ask this guy for like some recommendations or whatever. And then we started talking again through that. And we just caught up, and, you know, all this stuff. And then I ended up actually getting another job that was from like where I could work from home. And I wanted to just visit my family for a little while and just kind of hang out with them a little bit more. And so I went back to Seattle, and then Brooks and I started hanging out more and more and more. Then we became girlfriend and boyfriend. And then July came around. And he proposed. He proposed to me on July 7th of 2017. And I was like, I cannot believe that I'm getting engaged right now. This is crazy. Because this is something that I had written down, and something that was on my vision board, and all these, like, I was just so happy in that moment that all of these things were manifesting into my life. So, and anyways, then, you know, we got married this year in 2018 on June 9th, and it's just been an amazing ride. I mean, it's been so, just, I feel so blessed for all this stuff to happen in my life. So I hope you like this video. It is my first video, so I'm sorry if there was anything that, I think my dryer and washer is on, so I apologize for that noise if you can hear it. I'll probably try to put a little bit of music background or something so it's not that annoying. I also hope you enjoyed seeing my cat hanging off the freaking screen door. That was crazy. But yeah, just be patient with love. Love yourself first, and it will come to you. So have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching, and I will definitely be making more videos. There's a lot of manifestations that have came into my life, and a lot of amazing things that I want to share with you guys. So this channel will be more of a lifestyle, I guess, channel. It will just be a mumbo jumbo of a bunch of things, and I just want you guys to come here and look at me as like a friend, and I will try to, you know, just comment on anything that you guys comment on, and or reply to any of your comments, and just, you know, be myself throughout these videos, and someone that hopefully you can relate to. So if there is anything that you want to see, definitely let me know, and let me know how you like this video too. Alright, well, enough rambling. Have a great day, and I will be uploading soon again. Alright, bye!